You guys aren't ranked. Preseason poll, you're not ranked.
Right.
What do you think the biggest reason why USC football is not USC football of old?
Well, I think it's a process. A lot of coaching changes early on. I think most people realize it takes a while to get there if you haven't had good recruiting years. So you got to build it up, and then you've got to find the players that fit your system in that same process. So I think that's part of it. The additional coaching changes don't help, but I think Clay Helton will provide some stability. Yes, last year was a very disappointing year, 5-7. No one's happy with that. But sometimes I think emotionally and mentally, you get to a place and you think you've arrived. You haven't won a Pac-12 championship, but you're back into a great Rose Bowl game and you play, and all of a sudden everybody's hopes are up. Oh man, that looks like our USC football team. What a dramatic win over Penn State. Then you come back and you win the Pac-12 championship, and everything seems to be going up, and you start feeling really good about it, right? And you kind of move along. And that sense of urgency doesn't kind of take place. And there are some things that need to change, and they don't change. And so you have a very disappointing season. I think that Clay understands that. I think he's brought back that sense of urgency. He's increased the intensity of everything they're doing on the football field. And I think the coaches' changes have been good. So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
You probably won't know the answer to it. I don't expect you to. How many coaching changes, how many different personnel changes did USC make in football this year?
Well, I know you had Kliff Kingsbury for a little while.
For a moment.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know how many.
18.
Why do you need to make 18 changes?
Well, you're talking about making changes, subtle changes, big changes, offensive coordinators, different coaches that come in and looking what's doing. And he wanted to upgrade what he was doing. I think Graham, as our offensive coordinator coming in, helps our offense a great deal because instead of using a system that three different head coaches at one time USC kind of collaborated on, he simplified things. He got rid of all the old terminology that was created by three different coaches, and he brings in a simplified terminology for the quarterbacks and receivers, the offensive line. And so it gets everybody on the same page. What does that allow you to do? It allows everybody to be athletes, not to overthink what you're doing. I think that was hugely important.
Yeah, explain the Kliff Kingsbury thing. Why was that just a cameo there? Did he have business cards already made up with USC?
You'll have to ask Kliff that question. Up until the time Kliff left, everything I heard and from Kliff was that he intended to stay. And then it's Christmas, it's the holidays. Things are going back and forth. His agent's calling. I'm calling the head coach. He says, no, he's staying, et cetera, et cetera. And so I call Kliff on the phone. And Kliff was at the airport.
Going to Arizona?
On his way to New York.
Okay.
Then coming through Arizona.
Okay.
And so, look, it's kind of a no-win situation. You're trying to get the best coaching staff you can have, right?
Yeah.
You sign someone, they say they want to come, it'll fit. But for a college to get a reputation that you have a coordinator, but you're going to block him from leaving to go to the NFL, who's going to come there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's be honest. If you're not a head coach and you want to be a head coach, there's going to be a couple of moves in your life, maybe more than just a couple. And if you don't have the ability to move when an opportunity presents itself, what are you going to do?
Is there a magic win total for Clay Helton this year? For you, for Clay Helton?
Well, Dan, I won't go there on that one. I mean, I think, we judge our coaches on a variety of things. Certainly we want to win and want to be at the top. But Clay is doing a great job motivating and helping these young kids have a productive 3-4 years at USC, working towards their college degrees. We had 19 players on our team last year that wore a graduation patch, which means they're graduating by the end of that semester or have already graduated. So we're very proud of that, and we want to move it forward. So I don't look at this as, well, you've got to win 11 games. You've got to be undefeated. You've got to do this. And our goals remain the same. Do we want to be at the top? Absolutely. But where does that begin? Yeah,
it's weird to see USC as an underdog story.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are an underdog story this year. You got a great quarterback. I think your wide receivers are going to be, potentially could be great.
A great group of wide receivers.
Yes, really, really talented. But you're going to play the underdog role, it feels like.
And we have a tough schedule.
Yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, it was just a couple of years ago that one of our big rivals, obviously Notre Dame, was having the same kinds of issues. Made changes, and they've had a couple of good years back to back. We look to improve and be better, and we look for this team to show better.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.